Hello everyone, my name's Tom the Taxi Driver and welcome back to Cabbie Reacts. We're going to be looking at some music videos. If you missed part 1 for this, then do check that out over here. Let's get started with this video here. This is The Libertines with Don't Look Back Into the Sun. Trouble is with some of these sort of like indie videos, they're quite quirky and all handheld and jarring and stuff. This is very clearly the Mall, and most likely this is going to be a Sunday because there's lots of people walking around on the Mall. And alternatively, this could have been done on like a Troop in the Colour or maybe something like that because they've got all these GB flags up. So it almost coincides with some sort of a public holiday. Gives you some indication. Probably summertime by that notion. That's clearly Trafalgar Square, but this is back when you used to have pigeons at Trafalgar Square. So when I was a kid, one of the features of coming to London Trafalgar Square was you could actually buy pigeon food and feed the pigeons at Trafalgar Square. I mean, it sounds so disgusting to think about right now, but that was one of the features. Now I believe there's actually a trained hawk that surveils the area to keep away the pigeons, so that's why you don't get them there anymore. I'm not going to get that because it just looks like a nondescript kind of estate, but I think they've chosen it because look at the amount of St George's flags are hanging out of it. Obviously, we're not. Yeah, St George's flags are obviously not a bit of a rarity in the UK now. You can only really put them up when like the World Cup's on, but yeah, it's a bit kind of too EDL white pride sort of stuff. So now this is a good one, right? Now instantly I can see there's a Waterstones across the road. You've got an Eminem poster here, which is, I'm gonna say this is gonna be like HMV or something. Now I know there used to be a mega one on Tottenham Court Road, but this could be Oxford Street equally. This has changed a lot since, again, I've only been really driving in London. I have experience in London in like the past 8 years, really. My first job in London was about 10 years ago. So, no idea. Could be Oxford Street, could be Tottenham Court Road. Give me the London. Where's the London? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so, I can't tell if that's HMV or a Virgin Megastore. It could be Virgin Megastore. Is that very red there? What else in the charts there? Can you see? I'm slowly skimming through this because I'm hoping it's just going to come jumping out at me. This is Dean Street, corner of Dean Street and Old Compton Street. You can see in the background there is BT Tower, and that would make sense. That would make congruent sense with Dean Street going up there. It can't be Frith or Greek Street because they're one-way southbound, or at least they are now. I don't know what they would have been at the time of this video. But most likely, and I think just the way this pavement sticks out here, that looks to be Dean Street in Soho. Yeah, there's a no entry there, which would believe that's Old Compton Street. And if we turn around, we'll see. Yeah, that's definitely. So down here is Shaftesbury Avenue. Blue canopy on the left here is the French House Pub. French House Pub, I think, was named because when there was a lot of World War II sort of different generals that were based here, they would have like French members that would be based in this public house, and that's how it became the French House. But it was also famed for having, until fairly recently, I guess, pre-pandemic, they would only sell half pints. Remember, you'd go in there, and the typical thing you do when you go into any pub is, I'll have a pint of, and they just go, we don't sell pints. You're like, what? Yeah, we do half pints. All right, well, I'll have a half pint of. So, yeah, that's what the French House is famous for. So, east side of Dean Street there.
Now, whilst we're on the subject of pints, this is a great time to introduce a similar volume of liquid. But this one isn't alcoholic. This is a complete meal replacement shake. Now, this video is sponsored by Y-Food. Y-Food have been a complete game changer for me, both when I'm at home filming these videos or out in the taxi. Because of the nature of the job, I never know where I'm going to be and what time. So this means that I can get sustainable nutrition. It's a perfect blend of carbohydrates and protein. And best of all, it tastes amazing. In addition to the great macronutrient blend, Y-Food actually contains 26 vitamins and minerals. They're available in a huge variety of flavours, and they're available in bottled form like this or powdered sachets, so you can mix them up on the go. Can't decide on a flavour? Well, I'd highly recommend the Original Taster Pack. It's made up of their 5 original flavours to give you a broad spectrum of the great tastes that are available with Y-Food. And best of all, not only are Y-Food giving you free shipping with your order, using my exclusive discount code TAXI10, they're giving you a full 10% off your entire order. And that's unlimited. Thanks again to Y-Food, and now let's find out where the Libertines go next.
Now there's a taxi there. street coming out. These give way markers mean that it's going to be a one-way out. You can't get in it. This is Shaftesbury Avenue. So they're now walking up. That's going to be Thrift Street. Greek Street's the next one after the cinema. So the cinema on the corner there. This is Shaftesbury Avenue. The entrance to Chinatown's over here. That's looking down into like Piccadilly sort of area. So now they're walking up Thrift Street. So let's try and like cobble some of this together in terms of the timeline that we've seen. They started off around the Mall, Trafalgar Square area. They went shopping in a Virgin Megastore. Now, a Virgin Megastore is only going to be on Tottenham Court Road or Oxford Street, which is north of this Soho, Shaftesbury Avenue area. So if we look at this in terms of a map, they've gone from Trafalgar Square to a shopping district, meaning they've had to go through Soho. Then the shots of Soho come in, Dean Street and stuff like that. And now this shot comes in, which is them walking into Soho. It doesn't make any sense. God, it's just so disjointed. Like, there's no compelling narrative to this. So in terms of how a narrative goes for this music video, they started at the Mall, Buckingham Palace. They said, should we go to Virgin Megastore and rob a CD? Yeah, let's do it. Walked around in circles a bit, got lost in Soho because they were in Soho, then they walked back up Soho, and then towards the end of the video, then they walked back towards the Mall. It doesn't make sense. Really confusing, crap music video. Bit of an older one. This is the Specials with Ghost Town. Straight away, it's Barbican. There seems to be a bit of a theme going on. So this is, if you watch part one of my video, Kylie Minogue's video was filmed around the Barbican estate. So Barbican, nice big brutalist architecture. I love the Barbican. I would just love to live in there. Can you imagine the view you would get out of the top there? I don't know if it's NatWest Tower, but it's definitely more the City of London. NatWest Tower is quite iconic from above because you can actually see the NatWest symbol. The actual shape of the building is a NatWest symbol. I mean, that's pretty brazen marketing. This is very like East London-y, Dockers kind of warehouses. Right, this is obvious. This is the back of the Bank of England. The name of the street, though, is Loughbury. So by the looks of it, this is actually driving up Throgmorton Avenue. Can't do that anymore. It's like pedestrianised. Right, these lights. Beach Street Tunnel. It seems to be, if you want to film a music video, go to the Barbican estate or go through the Beach Street Tunnel. Ah, remember where we saw this before? Well, it was in Chris Martin's video, wasn't it? Coldplay. So London Bridge. Right, here we go. Very good question. Is this Rotherhithe Tunnel or Blackwall Tunnel? Blackwall Tunnel is effectively a dual carriageway, so you have two lanes going one side of the tunnel, other tunnel, two carriages going the other way. The way they're driving could then mean that this is the Blackwall Tunnel. I can't tell from the actual size because Rotherhithe Tunnel is noticeably a lot smaller. This could be Blackwall Tunnel. I can't really tell right now. I can't remember if there's even pavements in the Blackwall Tunnel. That looks like when you exit out of the Blackwall Tunnel on the south side, you get those archways that you drive through. Possibly. This looks like Blackfriars Underpass. So this is Blackfriars Station. So they're coming from the West End out eastbound, which is incredibly slow nowadays. It doesn't work nowadays. And it says bridge. Now, going back to the 80s, I don't know of my knowledge of like what bridges you could get from the like Victoria Embankment going eastbound. Nowadays, you can't. You can't turn right onto London Bridge. You can only get the left. You can't turn right into Southwark Bridge. You can't even turn right into Tower Bridge if you're not a taxi. This could have been different. I think that's where that hill comes from. It's these lights that are giving it away, and this kind of tunnel here. I think that's where they've come from. It's definitely not going westbound because there's not that much of a gradient out of the tunnel. And this looks like Wapping out there. So I'm going to guess Wapping is my guess there. This is a real tough one. So in terms of filming this, I don't know, maybe they stayed up really late and they waited for sunrise. Because you've got a bit of Beach Street in there. You've got a bit of Victoria Embankment. There's some docks and stuff going on, which could have been Wapping. So Wapping could have been where they started. And then as the sun set, they drove west and then wiggled around that way. Tough one. Okay, so next video, we're going to go with Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve. There's something quite interesting about this music video, or rather the song itself. The Verve didn't get a penny in royalties because the riff was said to be too similar to that of the Rolling Stones. So even though it was used on it was used on the football and stuff, I don't know what football it was used on, whether it was the Premier League or whatever. All that time, all that usage, the Verve didn't get any royalties. It's a really iconic song, and that's what they're known for it. but it's very similar to a Rolling Stones riff. So they've only recently started receiving royalties on it. There's our main man, Richard Ashcroft. Here we go. But where is he? There you go. So there's a bit of a clue here. It says something. College opens in Shoreditch. Yeah. East London, perhaps. Yeah. I'm not getting it yet. That looks familiar. Oh, here we go. Right. I'm getting this. Hoxton Street. This is Hoxton Street Market. I wonder how much of this is organic or if they actually had to close all the street for this. I'll tell you why it's Hoxton Street Market is because of those cookers and everything going out. I watched the name's going to beat me now, but I'll put it in the description. But I watched a really good documentary about the gentrification of Hoxton Street, and that Hoxton Street, despite how close it is to Shoreditch, Old Street, was kind of one of the last original London neighbourhoods. It so close to the city of London, and then for all these different people that conducted business around there. So you've got Joe Cook of F Cook Pie and Mash. This guy who puts out all the washing machines. Really quite a poignant documentary that just showed the changing of the times in the area, and how much people could put studio spaces up there and it would just replace these old brick and mortar businesses that had been there for decades. But that chicken shop that we had back there, with that in mind, so that's Falkirk Street. He's walking away from the city and he's walking towards the northern end, Hyde Road, Pitfield Street. I mean, narratively, it could be interpreted as Richard Ashcroft, he's leaving the city and he's kind of bumping into all these people on the way out of the city. It's like the music video I Disappeared by Metallica, where one of the characters trying to go up the set of steps and there's all these people coming down and just pushing him the opposite way. Has he gone past the Pie and Mash shop? Because he'll be on the same side of the street as the Pie and Mash. Yeah, I didn't see it. That'd be nice to get a feature for F Cook. Yeah, it's much the same, isn't it? He just keeps walking. Where does he end up? All these people. And then, his band members. Presumably they're his band members. They all join him. Narratively, it makes sense. It's not that interesting in the music video. It's kind of nice how it's all one shot, but it works. Right, last one. Probably one of my favourites. And this is going to be Thou Shalt Always Kill by Dan Lasac and Scroobius Pip. Very bad quality on this one. Right, straight away. Looks iconic. What can I see? Right, we've got a cab straight away. Oh, these pillars. These now look familiar. Here we go. Right. That is Charterhouse Street. So let's go back. This is looking eastbound. So if you came from the direction where that cab has come from, that's actually... Is it Goswell Road at that point, or is it Aldersgate Street? So right on the split of Aldersgate Street and Goswell Road. So as you exit the city, Goswell Road. And then these, pillar things, which line the fence there, is actually the entrance to Charterhouse. Charterhouse is a very old... it's now an almshouse, but in years gone by, it was a monastery. It was said to be where the offside rule was created, when there was kids that were... I don't know if they're in the monastery or whatever, but... Yeah, I don't know a great deal about it, but Charterhouse, hence Charterhouse Street. So this is the east side of Smithfield Market. He's now walking down Lindsay Street. Cool transition. He's now gone, so using the jacket as a transition. This is the best ones are the cheap ones, right? This obviously clearly had very little budget associated with it, but just look how thought out that was. He's still within the city. There's a park there. I wonder if it's Golden Laney area. Is that a Carphone warehouse there? That looks like a Carphone warehouse motif. But this looks like one of the little alleyways that joins Long Lane into Cloth Fair. Middle Lane, is it? Little tiny street that runs along by St Bartholomew the Great Church. So he's here at the market again, but this is the southern side of Smithfield Market. I'm not going to be able to get this unless I give it a bit more. He's either walking south towards into the city, or this is walking north up St John Street. Right, there we go. So this is actually walking up Turnmill Street towards Farringdon Station. So this is the little split here. You can either walk up St John Street, which is kind of due north, or you can split off into Turnmill Street, and that's then the direction he's now walking. So we've already got a bit of an inconsistency there. So when he left his flat, he comes out of Charterhouse Street, goes left into Lindsay Street, then ends up in a park. Now he's going north up St John Street. Ooh. It's clearly like a railway bridge, and it's clearly going to be like associated with Farringdon, right? Because Farringdon, the original Metropolitan line was like the first underground line in London, but it's not actually underground. The way they actually made the underground Metropolitan line, late 1860s, 1869 or thereabouts, was that they basically cut a trench into London and they just covered it over in certain parts. So on the other side of this, you could look over and see like a Metropolitan line train. But where is this then for that to be the case? This is... No, I have not got that. That's an anomaly. I'm going to have to look up that one. That's really annoying me. Eh? He's back at Charterhouse. There's not a bridge there, is there? Right, this one's easy. This is Postman's Park. Postman Park, because it's a park like adjacent to a lot of the old like Royal Mail offices, I believe. But Postman Park is now remembered for everyday people who performed heroic sacrifices in, like trying to save other people, but then died in their own process. So you go in there and there's these real, like, it's quite sad, many stories, but these plaques of people that died trying to save other people. Smart's the ground there, and it just sits neatly in the middle there. It's a great park. Go visit it. I mean, he's putting himself on a pedestal in the Postman's Park. Whatever. Right, very clearly this is Barbican. I feel like this is quite near the fountains, almost in the very centre part of the Barbican. I don't think those chairs are there anymore. I know it quite well because I know it semi-well because I like walking around the Barbican. It's a great estate, a real calm kind of oasis, really. Especially if like the City of London is in like full swing and you just walk in there and just sit by the fountains. And you notice how this pastiche is Bob Dylan's lyrics that he's throwing off on the very first one at Savoy. This is the same idea. Obviously, it's Scroobius Pip's a very clever man and takes a lot of influence, as sort of like good like hip hop artists and people in that sort of realm do. So he's now on the roof of the flat that he started in because Barbican's behind him. That's Charterhouse Square down below. Yeah, makes sense. Kind of odd. He's at the meat market. Obviously, this is was it Inigo Jones who done Smithfield? Maybe, I don't know where my brain's pulling that from. But yeah, he's looking over at Smithfield Meat Market, little bit into like the western end of the city, but not the City of London. And he's saying, "You shall think for yourselves." So I don't. If anyone who doesn't know the layout of the City of London, Smithfield, Clerkenwell, that kind of area, it kind of just is him saying to the city, think for yourselves. But the way I interpret this, obviously, in London, is he's sort of telling the market porters and people who work in the meat market, think for yourselves. Thou shalt always kill. Maybe it has a connotation with slaughtering livestock, meat market. Don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into this. Thank you once again for watching this video. If you've not already checked out part 1, then you can do that over here. And if you can, it'd be really, really appreciated if you could subscribe to my videos and check out my weekly email newsletter. That's where I share what I'm working on behind the scenes and any insights I've discovered about London during that week. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.